We have Ani Asaru. Ani Asaru, sir. You turn your microphone on.
Yes, sir. My real name is Timon. Run a business called the Spiritual Shade Room, and I'm a longtime supporter. And I'm a foundational Black American,
Yes, sir.
and I completely support your movement. Me and my brother has been listening to you for a long time, and I just want to share why I don't support immigration. I went on a date early when you began talking about this with a non-FBA woman. And when we got on the date, she just started spewing all types of stuff about foundational Black Americans, trying to convince me how her culture was better than mine.
Right.
And I also have an assistant that works for me that does my flyers and stuff. And we've been going back and forth for the last couple of weeks. I'm actually about to fire her because she's been just spewing, trying to convince me that foundational Black Americans are lazy. That whole thing that her mother and her father and grandparents projected upon her. And she also has like a lot of things that she tries to project with her identity. One minute she's Latino, one minute she's Caribbean. I'm like, she's very confused. But I have one question for you before I get off. How do you feel about the Moors in America? Should they identify foundational Black American, or how does the Moors and their uh, nationality fit into this conversation?
All right, good question. I'll answer that when you off the air. With the Moors, look again. A foundational Black American is a lineage. So even if you don't understand the concept yourself, you're still a foundational Black American because that's just us specifying a lineage. You're born a foundational Black American. It's not a club or a group, or it's not about how you feel. You're just born a foundational Black American. So that's not anything that somebody can debate or anything. And we use that term because that's a term that cannot be remixed. People can't glom on it and flip it and then make it for their group. And that's why so many people have a problem with it. Notice how many people they have a problem with the term FBA. They don't have a problem with the term African American. If somebody says, hey, I want to get some benefits for African Americans, they don't have a problem with that because other groups will be like, well, shit, I'm from Africa. So that means me. So nobody has a problem with that. But when you say we're going to get benefits for foundational Black Americans, that's an exclusionary term. So now you're talking about excluding a lot of people. And when us, foundational Black Americans, talk about excluding people, that's the problem because now so many people have grown to have a sense of entitlement to get everything we get or to get everything we work for. And the entitlement has turned into just overt disrespect. We've let this sense of entitlement go on too long, and we should have been shutting this bullshit down a long time ago. And another thing about that culture thing, people talking about how they got a culture. What culture do y'all non-FBA people have? Let's get into that. And I want FBA stop letting people run that they got a culture and we don't. What culture do you have that we don't? Foundational Black Americans are the culture in this country. We are the culture, and we're the culture that everybody emulates. I really want y'all to stop letting them get away with that bullshit line talking about they got a damn culture and we don't. What the hell is your culture? Please, somebody, get on here if you're from the diaspora. Let us know what your culture is from us. How you have a culture and you don't and we don't. I would like to understand this. I want somebody to break this down. Let's get some folks in here. Raise your hand. Let's get into that culture thing. Let me look in the room and let me start inviting folks in here. Let me get this person here. Amanda, Gamu, Bobby. Hold on, a lot of folks in here. Let me get Bobby D. Okay, let's start with some of these folks first. Okay, Amanda. Oh, and I think I had you on before, Amanda. I remember you had an Asian man on your thing, and you were a Black woman from the diaspora. So, Amanda, turn your microphone on. Okay, Amanda, bounce. Okay, Gamu, turn your microphone on, sir.
Hey brother, how you doing?
Hey, sir, how are
I'm
you?
good. I'm good. Hey, I might not. I mean, I'm going to say something that might not be sounding good to all the Africans here because I don't know and I don't get it. why all this. It's frustrating for someone who lives here, who know the history and who see the struggle of all the African Americans. I mean, I don't know exactly what FBA is, and I cannot talk to it. But what I can say is, as an African, trying to put a number onto the fatherless, child of African Americans and all those things, it's kind of hurtful and insulting. And to go back and listen to other people say some of the things. I mean, I'm going to be lambasted right now. I know that they're going to be up filling my DMs and stuff. It's okay. But for someone who came here as a student and then life gets you to a certain position
Go ahead.
or
Hello.
home, um, you end up making this place your home. I believe there is a certain things that, I mean, there are certain things you shouldn't be saying. I mean, going to say that black people are lazy or they don't want to do A, B, and C. There's a part of history that's inside of it that we don't know because we weren't born here. We don't know exactly what they have been through. So for me, I understand that all these things are being said and people are having their own spaces and then saying their own things. But at the end of the day, you cannot judge someone if you have not been in their shoes. And that's exactly what's going on right now. I am not supporting none of the things that's going on, back and forth from the two communities, because at the end of the day, we shouldn't be saying all this. I have kids. They were born in America. They are Africans, but at the end of the day, I cannot tell them that, look, you were different from these people because I'm sorry, guys. I just felt like I had to say something. And
Now, where are you from
I'm
originally,
from
Gamu?
Senegal, and the problem is you are not talking to the French African countries because we don't share the same ideology. That's exactly what I wanted to say. I came here like 10 years ago. Didn't know anything about America except what I've seen on TV. Of course, I've been hit with the reality, but it's none of the things that we are saying. People are not lazy. They just don't have the chance that a lot of people should be having. They just don't have the chance to get to certain positions in life in this country because of whatever happens. And maybe they did not have the chance that I had to come here because the way they grew up and the reality they had to face is totally different. Of course, when they get to a certain age, we cannot expect them to be able to do certain things because the system have already labeled them a certain way. And that's exactly what happened. So for some people to get into this place and then start asking you, leave alone African names and all this BS. I'm sorry, guys, but this is not constructive, and it's
Not
not
at
good.
all. Yeah, exactly. And I totally agree with that gentleman. It's just causing a divide between the diaspora, regardless of how you look at it. And I understand, as a quote unquote, I guess what foundational Black American or whatever y'all want to call us here now. At first it was Africans. Now y'all don't want. Now we don't want to be Africans no more. To be honest, we shouldn't even be calling each other Africans because we never even stepped foot in Africa. So how are we African American?
Right.
And then on top of that, we calling ourselves Black, which is a negative term, especially with the U.S. Constitution and how they demine and oppress our quote unquote oppress Black people here. So at this point now we're suffering from what I will call identity crisis first and foremost. Secondly, we got people creating a
Hold on. Let's unpack some of that. Let me unpack some of that, Bobby. Foundational Black Americans, we aren't suffering from an identity crisis. See, that's another myth. See, we got to stop myths. Foundational Black Americans, we know who we are. We know exactly who we are. See, people try to project their identity crisis onto us. We know exactly who we are. We're the ones who revere and honor our ancestors who are foundational Black Americans. We are on our foundational Black American land and country that we built. We still practice the foundational Black American cultures that we've been practicing in this country we built for centuries, and we've never fled. So, who really has an identity crisis? Us or the people who flee here? That's the question, Bobby.
Can I just say one little thing, brother, before I get down?
Go ahead, Gamu.
When you said that we came here because we were seeking opportunity, that is absolutely right. If it
Right.
was look, I'm not. Look, the reality is, if Africa was as good as America is, I wouldn't be here, right? And it's not only um economically, financially, and even the social life is different. But when we come here, we have the opportunity to better ourselves and then make ourselves of something. And at the end of the day, if we can go back, we will be going back. But judging people is the one thing I cannot stand for. Everybody has the right to claim a culture. Everybody has the right to say who they are. I mean, as Africans, I do not think we have the right to judge every single Black Americans or African Americans or
They
whatever
don't
you
have
want to.
the right to judge us at all. Yeah.
Exactly. So what I'm saying is, claiming we're taking jobs because you guys are lazy, or we're doing this or we're doing that, doesn't make any sense. And of course, if some people did not put their lives on the road, we wouldn't have the chance to be here.
Mhm. All right. Thank you so much, Gamu. All right. That was Gamu. You still here, Bobby?
Yeah, I'm still here, bro. I'm still here.
Okay. All right,
But
Bobby.
yeah.
Any
Uh,
last?
oh, my bad, bro. Go ahead, continue. I'm sorry.
Okay. Let me get some more folks in. Okay. All right. Thank you, Bobby. Let me get some more folks in. It's confusion. Okay. I think hold on. Let me get some more people in here. All right. Let me get some more folks in here. Okay. A lot of folks chiming in. Okay. Let me get some more people in here. Okay. Let me get Son of Abe. Then we'll get who else? Let's get Son of Abe.
Hey Tariq, how's it
What's up,
going?
Son of Abe? I'm good, Son of Abe. Where are you calling from, sir?
I'm calling from Washington D.C. I've actually been
Oh,
following your sessions for a while. I think you bring up very interesting topics. Um, and just to add something I've always wanted to say.
now let me
Yeah,
ask you this: are you Foundation Black American or are you
I'm
immigrant?
an immigrant. I'm a Nigerian immigrant.
There you go. All right. So what's on
Yeah,
your
I've
mind?
been here for say 6 years now.
Yeah.
And to be honest, some of the things you talk about are true.
Mm-hmm.
I've had rhetorics from my African brothers and sisters sometimes saying, Black Americans are lazy and, uh, they should take better advantage of the resources that they have. And every time I try to communicate the fact that you cannot judge people if you haven't walked in their shoes. And that's a huge learning curve that immigrants, especially African immigrants, need to make sure they educate themselves in.
Yeah. Now, let me
Right,
ask you this, because I keep hearing that consensus that we're lazy. Foundational Black Americans, we've built the most
right,
institutions than any Black group on the
right,
planet. So where this weird thing about us being lazy is very weird. It's a very weird thing, and foundational Black Americans, even now, we have the most concentrated, aggregated wealth
absolutely,
as a group than any Black people or Black groups of people around the world, even now.
right.
So,
I mean, even
but go
even
ahead,
in
go ahead,
Washington
go ahead.
D.C.,
See,
you go
the thing is,
past,
the
yeah,
thing is, a lot of people who come over from the diaspora, they'll come
right,
over here and find the lowest denominator and then try to judge us as a collective on the lowest common denominator, which is what white supremacists do. They'll go to some housing project and look at the people in the project and say, okay, this is Black America.
right,
But if we went to Africa, Nigeria, Ghana, and went to a neighborhood full of huts and say, hey, damn, look at that.
right.
Oh, they were like, oh no, that doesn't represent us. So people want to play this lower common denominator game and then
Right.
try to hang their hat on that, and that's um, that's disingenuous.
I think so. As a matter of fact, you touched on something which was the next thing I was about to say. That narrative is actually a white supremacist narrative, you
Right.
know, and people unknowingly walk into it and jump into it, not knowing that there's more that meets the eye than what you see. You're seeing African Americans struggling. We're all struggling most of the times, but you see African Americans struggling, and you don't ask yourself, you don't educate yourself to know that there's a 400 history of just structural segregation.
Yes, sir. Let me get some more
Which
calls. Let me get some more calls. Let me get.
On this episode of Is It Just Me? Insight with T, I want to get into this Twitter Spaces Tariq Nasheed has been doing for the past week, and shout out to Tariq on this one. We both fellow Detroiters. What up, though? It says, are there any FBA people still trying to support immigration? And I just want to touch on a lot of things that Tariq has been touching on, and I want to go ahead and piggyback, put my insight into this, because my mother married a Nigerian back in the day. And when I hear these different Nigerians, Senegalese, Congolese, Somalians, Eritreans, Ethiopians, people from Kenya, Uganda, Cameroon, I don't care, Cape Verdes, Madagascar, it's 54 countries in Africa. And even when I was in college, you hear the rhetoric, you hear the talk, the speeches about black this, black that. You blacks don't have a culture. You blacks are lazy. You blacks don't do anything. You blacks are monolithic. You blacks can't get anywhere. And when you hear this kind of talk, chatter, or whatever you want to call it, it can become annoying, monotonous. It's not overbearing, because we know as black people who are from here, we're not from there. We know how it is being here, dealing with the situation that we're in, the cards we were dealt, and how we are a very resilient people, brilliant people. I'm going to say it, resilient and brilliant. And when you have people coming around with this chit chat about they're better, first of all, we're all humans, ain't nobody better than nobody, but we are from different regions. We're from over here, they're from over there. But when you think about it, the Olmecs and the Aborigines and the indigenous people, they were already here. Then when you think about the Africans that sold us, that was treacherous. That was downright dirty and cutthroat. But then again, these people have this mindset, and I'm going to say it, I don't even like to get into it, but it is a European mindset. And they get vetted when they were getting wetted by the Europeans, spraying them with guns and cannons and this and that. But they want to bring their ideology, their vitriol, their anger, and just spew it on us. When you listen to some of the Twitter spaces that Tariq has done in the last week or so. And you're going to hear Somalians and Ethiopians and Nigerians and the lot. Just bitter, angry. Now, I'm from the D, and I saw it. The Nigerians, they're jealous, envious. Not all, you can't put it all in the basket, but enough of them. Especially the women. The women take the cake, because the men want to get with the fine sisters that you can't resist. Give me a sister, I can't resist her. But you got the women, and their women ain't all that good looking. I'm not into fat, overweight, obese women. And remember, what might float your boat might sink mine, and what might sink mine might float yours. It's to each his own. That's my narrative. But they have a bitterness, a vitriol against the sisters. Come on now. The sisters fine in a mug. They come from the darkest to the lightest. Take your pick. And as long as they in shape, they get that right weight on them and they working out, I don't care if it's Vic Tanny, EOS Fitness, whatever. As long as they eating right, staying hydrated, and keeping them hips and them lips right, the African American, no, I'm going to say it. The sisters from here are fine as long as they keep themselves in adequate shape. Because it's nothing like a sister that's got it going on. You know, the kind of girl that stands out in the crowd. Now, I digress. But let's talk about customs. They always say, you guys don't have no customs. But let me tell you something. Custom, the arts and the social institutes and achievements of a particular nation, people, or group. Let's talk about that. Let's shed some light on that. Let's unpack that. If we didn't have no culture, why? Everywhere you go, I don't care if you're around Arabs, Asians, Caucasians, Caribbean, South America, Hispanics, everybody, Indians, everybody copies our culture. I was in the Indian restaurant. I'm in California. Michael Jackson did Thriller. You know how he has the whole entourage grooving, getting down, boogieing, dancing. Indians copy that. Go look at Bollywood. Go watch some of their movies. Go to an Indian restaurant and look. They play their music. And they have their videos copying everything Michael Jackson and every other person that's black American did. Let's go to the Caucasians' persuasion. Elvis stole from Chuck Berry. The Beatles stole. The Rolling Stones are called because of a black guy. That's why they call themselves the Rolling Stones. It's so many thefts. And I'm not going to even say allegedly on the Kardashians. They are vulture cultures. Vlad TV, vulture. Let me say this. If the Armenians, Arabs, whatever you want to call them, if their culture was so good, go over there and make money with your culture. Can't do it. Everybody you date has to be a black guy that's desperate, a Kanye West and the likes, who's weak-minded, but to each his own. Vlad TV. Let's do this. Go to Russia, where you're from, your people from, and let's see how interesting stories will be about where you're from and the people. No, everyone on his site, I don't even watch it. I stopped watching a long time ago, and I only watched it maybe. I'm counting on two hands. You got 10, maybe 6, 7, 8, 9 times, somewhere around there. Maybe 10, I don't know. But everybody copies our culture. Culture vultures. Ice Cube said it correctly back in 2000, and I believe that was 6. They're culture vultures. Every magazine, they want to be black. The women, they want the women's hips, they want their butts, they want their thighs, they want their lips, they want their high cheekbones, they want their complexions, they want to braid their hair. They call it gaslighting, fishnet. So we have no culture, but everybody copying it. The one year when, from Miss Beauty Pageant all the way up to Miss Universe, it was all black women. It was 5 or whatever, 6 contests. It was all blacks. People want to copy 10 from about 1977, 78, Bo Derek, wearing braids. My mother, I remember when I was a kid, my mother and aunts, they was livid about it. Grandma, white women with braids in their hair, they tried to say, no, sisters been doing it, period. Period. Look at Egypt. Those are black people. Napoleon shot off the nose because they recognized him and his troops that these are black people. They don't want, the brother talked about red. Think about that. I was just driving. I said, think about if you had ALL, all people, meaning not everybody, but enough of them, against you. Just because of your melanin, because of your hue, your beautiful complexions, array of complexions you come in. Everybody is out. Arabs against you. They enslaved us first. Caucasians hate us. And remember, I don't say all enough. Hispanics don't like us. Asians don't like us. West Indies don't like us. It's so many people against us because we're often imitated but never duplicated. They want to be us, but they don't want to go through what we have to go through. They want to dance like us. It used to be American Bandstand. We watched Soul Train. And those of us from from Detroit, we watched The Scene on WGPR Channel 62. What up, though? Detroit in the house. They copy everything that we do. Everything, but we don't have everything. We are copied, often imitated, but never duplicated. Our cadence, our sweetness, they call it swag for the young people. I don't say it. Everything we do, everything. It ain't even no separate. You can drive through different suburban cities and you hear rap music and look in the car. There's young white guys or white girls playing rap music. So what other race of people has went through this except the people from, they call themselves FBA, now Foundational Black Americans? They've taken our jazz, our rap, our slang, our colloquialism, our clothing, our hairstyles, our food, our walk. They have taken everything. Pretty soon, in 15 years, Tupac's going to be white. And Eminem is going to be black. They're going to swap. Because we call it rap, they call it hip hop. We call it rap. The first record came out in 1979, Sugar Hill Gang. Rapper's Delight. So you tell me, all around the world, every other city we go, every other video, no matter where I go, they're copying us. They're copying us. And tell me it ain't so, or is it just me? Because T gonna give you some insight. Is it just me? Go ahead, like, share, subscribe, let your fingers do the walking. It's a snap. Get back and let me know. Because Tariq got them on fire. They mad at Tariq. They want to take him down. One African guy said they're going to have a thing Saturday, tomorrow. Today is Friday. To try to get him off Twitter. And Tariq is snapping. I'm like, you can't get me off. I can't be canceled. These people have a vitriol, a disdain, when they should be thankful for and have gratitude for, again, all the stuff that Tariq is talking about. Go ahead, listen to some of his stuff, but listen to mine too, y'all. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Like, share, subscribe, leave your comments. But yeah, this word akata. Let's talk about the word akata. I first saw that on Lethal Weapon in '87. Akata. He's like, what's this word? I saw it on one of Wesley Snipes' pictures, Sugar Hill. Guy talking about akata. Which brings us to this word, a Yoruba word. So Yoruba, often used to refer to blacks. This context of the word akata applied to black people is inherently derogatory, means wildcat or wild dog. And for a culture that highly prizes order, conformity, and coolness, home-based structure, it's a derogatory term. It's an appendage. It's a pejoratory term, pejorative. And when you think about it, yeah, that's a tricky word to say, pejorative, but it's inflammatory, it's abrasive, it's abusive, it's condescending. Point blank is evil. But they call us akata. So Tariq has touched the nerve. He's coming back at him, calling him Cheetah P, calling them Jollof and all the other derogatory terms he's using towards them, and it's touching a nerve with them. They can't handle it. Just like when you touch a nerve with the other people, they can't handle it. And y'all know what I'm talking about. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and let this one ride, and hopefully you guys enjoy this. But when you get a chance, go ahead and check out Tariq Nasheed's Twitter Spaces, because he's going in on them, and they can't, you know how I say, if you can't stand the heat, get out the kitchen. Don't cash a check, yo. You know what can't cover? Or Beretta, don't do the crime if you can't do the time. But that's my time, y'all. Go ahead again, like, share, subscribe, and tell me, is it just me? Or is it the other way around when these people are coming over here with all this anger and vitriol that was put into them? And I got to do an addendum. I met a girl in college, and she said, you know what, T? She said, you guys are different from what they show in my country. They show you as rapists, murderers, and thugs and this and that. The hate you give, that one stupid picture, they thug, Tupac, Tupac said thug life, baby, baby, Tupac. But anyway, she said that to me, and I said, you know what? The Caucasians and everybody else, they want to be us. They can't be us. We're often imitated but never duplicated. And she says she see it. She see the jealousy. She see it. Yes, she's from another country, speak different languages, but she see it up front and personal. So that let me know the vitriol is real.